Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for London Club's Carnage with the cast and crew, the panel. Lawless, the only L merchant on this show this week. Obviously, my team didn't play.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good to see you, bro. How are you feeling?
You get a default L, yeah, for not playing. Like, so you're in the camp with me. You know, your last game was an L, right? The last game Chelsea played was an L.
No, it was a draw. It was a draw.
It was a draw. Okay, you're in the draw camp then.
Yeah,
man. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't feeling this. I wasn't looking forward to this show. I know I've had a lot of comments of people looking forward to the show, but I was not looking forward to it, to be honest with you. So I'm here, though. Unlike someone else, I don't hide. I never hide. So I'm here.
At least you were the only team last week to get a win in Europe, you know? So you can hold on to that.
I mean, maybe. Europe, we're doing our thing in Europe. That's, more important, isn't it?
Yeah, Premier League, not so much. Is this still part of, before I move on, is this still part of the slow start that you envisioned?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit slower than I envisioned, a little bit slower. I imagine that things would start to gain some pace by now. But yeah, it's a little bit slower than I would have liked, I'll be honest.
Well.
Maybe you'll wait till the quarter of the season's done and then the season might start. I mean,
Tobs, unbeaten for the rest of the season.
Talk to me. How you feeling, bro? Big win, Son, the guy that, last show, a lot of comments on Son, whether he would return, whether he would ever get back to his form. Slaps in a hat trick off the bench, making some people $2,000 on bets. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Not so good about the performance, but good about the result. I'm sure when we speak on Spurs, we'll speak on it. But I can't complain. 18 goals scored, 7 goals conceded, plus 11 goal difference, unbeaten in the league. Yeah, man. 17 out of 21 points. If you gave me this before a ball was kicked, I would have bitten your hand off for it. So, yeah, I really can't complain. It's good. It's good to be here.
Potts, bro. Another win for you as well. Man are racking it up. I know you're the level-headed, sensible Arsenal fan, but it's going to be difficult. Your fan base at some point, they're going to get onto you and shake you and say, listen, I want to hear big talk.
Yeah, man. It's happening already. Yeah. I'm getting told when I'm eating my humble pie, we're in for a title challenge. Man City and Spurs need to watch their backs. It's all starting to come out, man. Listen, I can't complain. I can't complain. I can't complain, but at the same time, I'm realistic to know that it ain't going to be top of the league come May. I still stand by that. I still don't think it will be. But the way we played at the weekend when we get into Arsenal, I was well impressed, man. I mean, people say you only beat the teams, you beat the teams in front of you. There's some that say Arsenal have had all the easy games. But we've looked very good. Yeah. No, this weren't, man. But top of the league, mate. And if we stay there, you're not gonna hear me moan. I'm gonna stay real. But yeah, I can't sit there and start saying that people are wrong about being excited about Arsenal at the moment, because it is good. It's looking good.
Oh, you have every right to be excited. I tried to, in my predictions, throw you man off and say that Brentford were going to do something. Ivan Toney was going to outmuscle maybe Gabriel and cause some problems, but it didn't happen. I didn't speak it into existence. I tried to sprinkle my juju on the situation, and it didn't prevail. It was mad. I think we'll start with you, because I'm not going to lie, you're top of the league right now, going into the first international break. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but this is a very impressive start, and you have had a couple tricky games. I would have said this was one of them, where you go away to Brentford, physical team. We saw what they did to Manchester United. They know how to play it about, but they can also give you those other options where they are a lot more direct. They play that 2 up top. That's difficult to deal with, and you, man, just walked all over them. And Fabio Vieira, I don't know, listen, we didn't really get to see too much of him until this point, but what a shot from him as well. Jesus, Saliba, we know they've got a couple of goals to their name this season already. I know Arsenal fans are starting to say Saliba's got more goals than Kulusevski, and they're dragging him out. But that shot from Vieira, man, was you impressed with his cameo? Because he was Odegaard's replacement, wasn't he?
Yeah, a lot of people at the start were struggling with the team news and thinking, is Partey fit? Where's Odegaard? Kieran Tierney's coming in. How fit is he now? Zinchenko's out. So there was a lot of doubts over a few players. As far as Vieira's concerned, I looked at his performance, and in terms of a rating, I wouldn't have really given him much past the 7 because everything he did was just good. It wasn't outstanding, but the strike was outstanding. Because no one really rolled that across to him. He'd already trapped it dead. So to still get that amount of power on it always looks better when it comes in out the post anyway, to be fair, inside the post. But I thought it was a really great goal. But you mentioned the 2 before that, Matisse, that for me have taken us to the next level, and that's Saliba and Jesus. I don't really know where Jesus is supposed to play, bro, because he ain't a number 9. He plays right, plays left, he drops deep, he goes up top, he comes in as an attacking 8. And if he wants to sometimes and has to, he comes in and does that number 6 work. The guy's ridiculous, mate. He's absolutely all over the place. It's crazy. And he really has taken us to a new level. Having said that, the guy should have and could have probably scored a hat-trick. And if it wasn't for a couple of good saves from Rea, then he would have. But I do feel like his performance was great. And Saliba, Lawless was saying not long ago, stop hyping him up yet, give him some time. Well, I'm happy to give him to the end of the season, but these first 7 games, he's looked ridiculous, mate. Like, ridiculously good. Like, I had concerns over Gabriel's start to this season. I thought he was one of our player of the season last season, Gabriel. This season, a little bit shaky in some of the games. I thought he was outstanding yesterday. And the performance between him and Saliba really did encourage me. Likewise, I thought Ben White and Tierney did well. But the one player, mate, that I have to give man of the match to, who was head and shoulders above everybody on that pitch, was Granit Xhaka, mate. Absolutely outstanding. Not a fan. Everybody knows, and who's been listening to me for a while, knows I've divided opinions with many Arsenal fans about how good this guy is. But there's nobody that can tell me he's not one of the most greatest performing central midfielders at the moment in the league. The guy's not had a bad game for God knows how long. He's Mr. Consistent. I thought he was the best player by far yesterday. They gave the Jesus the man of the match, but for me, it was Granit Xhaka. And I feel like the thing is, Matisse, like, it makes me laugh. People will say there's no easy games in the league. And I agree with that. I don't think there is, right? But when we beat these teams, it's all the easy fixtures Arsenal have got. I don't really get what one is it then? Like, what one is it? Are we got the easy games, or is it hard to beat these teams? Because I don't really think it makes sense when people talk about it like that. All I know is I can only go on by what we do against these teams previously. And I've seen us lose to Palace. I've seen us lose to Brentford. I see us struggle to beat Bournemouth for a few seasons when they're in the Premier League, when they had the Eddie Howe's of this world. I've seen us keep 3 clean sheets against them this season and beat them all 3 comfortably with a composed and controlled performance. And that's all I can go on. And that's where I can see where we were and where we are now. And I think that that's the improvement I can see in progress with this team and under this manager in the last couple of seasons. Where I'm still not sure is our squad strength in depth. Because it's a great story, don't get me wrong. A 15-year-old, youngest ever Premier League player, that's fantastic, of course. But do we really need that on our bench come September? Like, I don't mind doing this if we're coming towards April, May time. But when we're in September, 7 games in, and we have to bring a 15-year-old on to cover for Vieira because Erdegaard's out, that's a big problem for me. And I think we had that in a few positions. We had Souza, who's the 17-year-old guy we bought from West Brom. He was on the bench as the backup left back. Obviously, I've mentioned Nwari, I think his name is, or I don't even know if I've got that right. 15-year-old kid.
And then, Matt Smith?
Matt Smith is a guy that we've had for a few seasons now that everybody laughed about and said he won the FA Cup, but actually no one knew who he was because he was just the one that was on the bench. He went on loan somewhere in the Championship last season. They didn't want him. They've sent him back to us. So he's not good enough. So we had Kozia Dubry on the bench in the Europa League night. We had Serjan. Who are these kids, man? So it's so weak and thin. Now, I understand that Arteta wants a small squad because Pep's got one at Man City. The difference is Pep's got a small squad that everybody can look at and go, wow. Arteta can't do that with this Arsenal side, man. If you want to have a small squad to manage, don't come to this club, please, because I don't want a small squad. I want at least 22 players that can each play in each position twice to understand that if someone's out, somebody comes in. We can't do that in a lot of our positions at the moment. So I understand the comparisons between what he's learned under Pep. You've got to stop this comparing it because Manchester City are not the squad that Arsenal's are. Having said that, we sit top of the league. We're playing really well. I'm loving the momentum at the moment and the performances. And I am starting to see a little bit of progress in some of the mentality. I questioned our naivety against Manchester United at Old Trafford because I felt like we completely got ripped open. Where I was struggling with this game was, are we going to be naive to Brentford's strengths? And we weren't. We'd learned. We matured. They were lobbing it in the box. They were throwing it in. It was like Stoke of old under Rory Delap at times. And we dealt with it. And I think now that we've got that presence at the back with Gabriel and Saliba, as opposed to Mustafi and Socrates or David Luiz, and now we've got in the middle Partey and even Xhaka, to be fair, instead of the lightweight players like the Fabregases, Cazolas of the past, I think now we've been able to deal with some of that. And some of that physical presence at Arsenal, just beat them up when you'll beat them. I don't think that happens anymore. And that's credit to the manager, to be fair. I still think that we're a long way off, and I still think our squad's too small. But while we're at top of the league and things is going well, I can't sit there and start saying that, you know, I'm going to get all doom and gloom about it, because at the moment it's been a great start. 7 games in, 6 wins. Who am I to complain about that? I think everybody on this panel would have taken that start to the season.
Oh yeah, everybody would swap places with you if they could in terms of the league position. I'm interested, Tobes, if this is the way they've started the first stint of the season has changed your like prediction or expectation from them in regards to Tottenham. Do you feel like they're a bit closer to you by the season's end based on anything that you've seen so far with the manner of how they're winning these kind of games?
They were always going to be close to Spurs. They were always going to be close to Spurs. They finished a point behind us last season, so they were always going to be close to Spurs this season. So for me, it's not really changed my mind in that respect, but I'll give credit where it's due. Like I didn't think they would win yesterday, and it was one of like a Hail Mary sort of thing. But I don't know, something in me thought maybe Brentford could nick a draw. Like I'd never saw Brentford beating them, no way. But they won, and they won like emphatically as well. Like I didn't watch the game, but I'm just going off what my friends were telling me. Some are obviously big-headed Arsenal fans, but some are level-headed Arsenal fans, and actually said it straight, like it was a well-controlled performance and another clean sheet, scoring 3 goals away. Like the one thing that's impressed me about them is their performances. I've said it time and time again, their ability to kill a game like early on. We've seen it not once, not twice, like 3-4 times this season, where the game's done by half time, and it's just a case of managing in the second half. So yeah, I'll give them props to that as well, and I'll echo what Potts is saying on Granit Xhaka. He knows my thoughts on Xhaka, but the guy in 2022, he's not put a foot wrong. Or better yet, he's barely put a foot wrong outside of the Liverpool semi-final in the League Cup. Like when you watch his performances now in this 4-3-3 role, he's way more decisive with his passing. He's way less of a liability defensively. Maybe that's because he's not being asked to do much of the defending work. But yeah, like the key thing with him is he's actually contributing to their attack. If you look at their performances over the past couple of games, he's putting the ball into areas where players have the opportunity to score. Against Man United last season, he's getting goals himself. Like he's actually adding to their attack. He's not just there for the sake of being there. So yeah, I must admit I didn't expect Arsenal to be top of the league. So it's credit to them. There were a lot of games in this fixture where I think they should have won. Like I expected them to win. It was a relatively safe start to the season apart from Crystal Palace, but like Pot said, you got to beat what's in front of you, right? We've seen teams that are meant to be stronger than Arsenal play some of these sides, and they've not won. They've not won. Liverpool went to Fulham, to Craven Cottage, and they should have lost. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Crystal Palace went to Anfield and got a point. Yeah.
Everton.
Man United went to Brentford and got smashed 4-0. So as much as we can point the fact that Arsenal have had some favourable fixtures in their run, they still had to win them. And one loss in 8, is it 7? Yeah, one loss in 7 games. Like,
and actually, that loss was still a decent performance at Old Trafford. It wasn't. Yeah, exactly. They weren't blown away.
It was just naivety. It was just naivety. Yeah. But like one loss in 7, and you're top of the league, you're not really going to complain, are you? Like no. It points to a team that are actually doing way more good things than bad things. But I think
it's just a squad depth I look at, and I think
but it's, in terms of expectation, I think it's too early to change expectation. Like 10 games in, fair enough. Halfway through the season, fair enough. 7 games, nah, too early. Too early. Especially when we see that every single club well, every single club in the top 7, including Lawless, because they're in Europe as well. Every single club that's in the top 7 in European competition, they're going to go through a hellacious schedule over the next month or so.
Yeah,
so
in October.
Maybe that's a real metric. See where the teams are at the end of October. See where the teams are at the halfway point of the season. It'll be a bigger sort of indication of what
I think as well. Like, just quickly on the squad depth thing, like, I do think it's everybody, not just Arsenal, but I do think with Arsenal there's a huge drop off. Like, there's a huge drop off because Tottenham will miss Kane, but they have now got somebody that can come in at least. So I'm saying the drop off is still there, but it's not massive. With Arsenal, the drop off is so Jesus gets a yellow card at the North London derby. He misses the Liverpool game. We've got to play Eddie up top. There's a massive drop off. Yep. If Partey gets out injured, as we've seen already, Lokonga just isn't that guy. So I think that's where my kind of point is about the squad depth is there's too much of a drop off. We've got players there that can come in and do a job, but doing a job sometimes ain't enough. And I think there's definitely issues with Chelsea, United, even City, Liverpool. We've seen have problems with squad depth at times, but I do think theirs is less of a drop off as opposed to Arsenal's, who I think are still a couple short if we want to be looking at being serious, sort of pushing Man City all the way. I just can't see that personally.
I think for you guys, it's more about get through that rigorous schedule in October, try and maintain where you are, and then in January you have to go again. But they have to try surely and bolster that squad in January if they're serious about, because you don't want a repeat of what happened last year where we say Arsenal are looking good. They need to now pull the finger out in January, top up. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll solidify your spot for the rest of the season, and they didn't do that, and then obviously Tottenham did, and we saw how it went. I mean, Lawless, if you look at Jesus in particular, right, 45 million. We all know Haaland's fee was ridiculous. What was it, 60-something million they got him for? We know that you could triple that, and that's probably his real valuation, if we're being honest, round about whatever Mbappe cost at PSG. What would you value Jesus at? Because I was waxing lyrical about this guy. 45 million, one of the stills bargains, real bargains of the summer. Yeah. what are you valuing this guy at right now? Like, how much do you think Arsenal have already made inside 7 matches? Because I think this guy he's a snippet at that price, man. He's so good.
Let's come on. Let's relax. Let's calm down a bit, man. Let's not do too much. He's looking good, looking like a good signing. But
are you gonna follow the same thought train as Nicky, who said he wouldn't get 10 goals?
No, listen. I'm not.
Oh my God! Really? Wow.
I never said that. I never said he wouldn't get 10. I said he wouldn't get like the levels that they were claiming, like the Bamiyang numbers and shit like that. That was what I always said, you know, like into the 20s and competing for golden boots and all of that. That's the way they were hyping him up. That's what I said. I was like saying maybe 15 Prem goals. So, yeah, to me, I think we just need to relax and give him some time to see the full, how he does like over the course of the season. And when he's relied upon in the big matches, in those big moments, how he can perform when it matters. So let's see. At the moment, how many goals he got? You say
four in the Premier League, 3 assists in 7, 7 goal contributions in 7. That's pretty good.
All right, very good. Let's talk goals, yeah, because he's a striker. So knock off those.
How many goals Scamacca got?
I'm with Lawless, to be honest. I don't like the DNA stuff. But,
you don't like it, but Kane gets good DNA, so he gets a lot of assists.
It's not like I dislike it. But what I'm saying is, when we're talking about a striker, a number 9, don't talk to me about his assists. Talk to me about his goals first. Assists should be secondary. Yeah. Don't combine the two. If they're not wingers, they're 9s, bro.
He's got. So you basically, you just wanted to say he has 7 goals. That's what you wanted to say, innit? That's why
I don't want to say shit. I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm just pressing buttons.
Why are you doing your propaganda then?
Because I rated Jesus and he's doing his thing. So of course
So tell me how many goals he got then. That's what
4. He got 4. That's what I just told you. He's got 4 goals.
Yeah. So when I say
4 goals in 7 is not a bad return.
I'm not saying it's bad. So why you got? If I say how many goals, you go, and he got 3 assists as well. Like
because he did.
Good for him. Good for him. Let's see
how many goals and assists Scamacca got.
Scamacca, I think he's got like 2-3 goals now.
Does he play?
He play.
Let's not go there, man. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Is
right.
Lawless? Can I just quickly ask Lawless a question? Is Jesus more of a bargain of the season than Areola, or are we
Well,
still
it
sticking
remains
with
to be
Areola?
seen, isn't it? Will remain to
Oh
be
my
seen.
God.
It remains to be seen.
You are one of the most
mad.
shameless
You
individuals.
are honestly mad.
No, listen, it's straight mathematics. Yeah, it's straight mathematics. Right. Let's do some arithmetic. Let's look at this. Right. Areola.
Arithmetic.
Paid?
Oh my God.
8 million. Right.
Yeah.
We paid 8 million for Areola. Arsenal paid, what was it, 45 plus add-ons with some add-ons.
45 million plus. Yeah, it could rise to 50 if everything goes well. Yeah.
Cool. So everyone likes to add on. It's probably going to rise to 50 because he's your main man. Let's be real. It's good. You're going to pay 50.
Well, apparently he might not make it. He might not make it according to you. He might stay at 45 if he's carrying on.
So in terms of valuation, contribution, Areola's played one game in the Premier League this season.
Okay, but that's not on him. That's not
so what are you? Where are you going with this maths? Because you was about to go down the route of like what per, if you was to spread out their cost per performance or per contribution or per.
I'm just saying a bargain. Yeah, to say he's a bargain is because we only paid like 8 mil for him.
But he's not doing anything. You're not playing.
But why is Jesus not a bargain?
I'm not saying he's not a bargain. I said time will tell. Time will tell if I'm right about Areola.
Why is Areola more of a bargain?
But I said Areola could. Do you know what the word? I mean, we did this last week. We're back in secondary school. We're doing maths and English here. We're doing our maths and English for GCSEs here, right?
Oh God!
Could be. It's possible. If Moyes plays him, if Moyes actually plays him in the Prem, he could be. I said could.
Yeah,
he could be. Jesus could be. Right now, he's not. Right now, Areola's not.
What about Saliba? Has he kind of
signed him 2 seasons ago? We're not doing this with fucking Saliba. They signed the brother 2 seasons ago, and they're giving him his game time now, long overdue game time. We are not going to pretend as if Saliba is some new fancy schmancy signing. No, let's not do that. Stop it.
No. I agree with that. I agree with that, like 100%. And I said that for all three of you. But like, how long do we give this guy before we start saying, "Oh, fair play"? I can see why people are giving him the credit. Because we've had 7 games now, and he's been consistently good.
I already rated him.
We had that shit game, didn't he? Against who was it? Man United? Or was it another game? What was that shit game he had? That really shit game.
I don't think he had a shit game, man.
Yeah, he had that shit game.
What shit game? He doesn't even know what game it is.
Something like that.
He doesn't even know what game it is. He's just trying. He's just getting a spoon out. He's getting a wooden spoon out. He's trying.
You are such a hater.
He can, man.
Such a hater.
Own goal. Didn't he score an own goal?
Where is this hate?
Do you know where this hate's coming from? Is that he signed a centre back from Ligue 1, and he was very excited about him for 30 million. What's his name? Agued, and you haven't seen him yet, have you? And this Ligue 1 centre back has come in and he's playing games, hurting your soul.
I'm just saying, like, I just think Arsenal fans do a bit too much. That's all I'm saying. Like,
okay, so that was my question. When is it no longer too much? Like, what has he got to have 2 years that he's like this?
But when you say when is it no longer too much, though, in what respect, though? Because is it to rate him as a good defender? Because I think he's getting rated as a good defender.
So when do you guys say? And this is this isn't me going, give him some credit now. This is me asking a serious question.
No, I mean,
what does he have to do? What does he have to do for you two to go, do you know what? This guy's looking fucking mustard.
No, but he is looking good. He is looking good. My only objection was the notion that Matisse was going to run about him. Oh, I know he's come into your squad and he's actually had a really good impact, but we've known about Saliba years. It doesn't take anything away from what he's done, but we've known about Saliba years. He made like League 1 team of the season last year. He got called up to the France squad, so it wasn't like you lot were adding some random don into your team. You're adding a guy who is actually highly rated.
I agree with that, and I would have taken him before that. But I think what I'm meaning is because we didn't know what we were going to get from him. He could have come in and been a bit of a disaster. But when I looked at him, I thought, whoa, he looks all right. And then everyone said it's just pre-season. I said, okay, calm, let's go for the season.
I think
he looks okay for the first few games, only the first few games. Now we're 7 games in. When does it start going?
I think you have to rank him as one of the best young players in the league. I think you have to.
I think you have to now. Yeah,
you do, but there's still needs to be more
promising.
There needs to be. There's Saliba's had a really good start. Potts. Nobody is going to deny that. Yeah, maybe Lawless might. Nobody's going to deny that. Saliba looks really good, yeah. But let's see over the course of the season. So far, like you said,
that's the answer. That's the answer. He has to have a season. That's the answer.
Yeah. If you're judging it on what he's done so far, yeah, he's been great for Arsenal. Now continue. Let's see it over the season.
No, I was going to say that because we've obviously been here before. Like Arsenal have signed a lot of players who started brightly, and then tailed out, and they wanted rid of them, like Torreira and players like that who they come in and was like, oh, look at him, he's like everything that we've been needing. And the next thing it's like, oh, when we got to get rid of this deadwood. So we've been here before with Arsenal. Let's see if he can sustain it, especially when the games start coming thick and fast. In the mix. But I will say, yes, he showed promise. He looks good. He's a young player. I'm not saying that Arsenal fans shouldn't have some excitement about him, but don't start sticking your chest and telling every fucking fan of every other club like, oh, he's better than this player you've got, and he gets into this. It's like, oh, man, just
can't wait for the Arsenal versus West Ham combined 11.
Does he get into West Ham team? I think he does.
Well, listen, at the moment, centre backs is not the problem for us now.
If everyone's fit, does he start at West Ham? That's my question.
100% he starts. Next to
my
Zuma.
Definite yes.
Because we ain't
been one of our best players. Kerr's been one of our best players, mate.
Has he? Okay, fair enough.
Giving away a penalty and scoring an own goal in his first 2 games.
See, this is
shit game. Shit game sounds like. Do you have a shit game, Kerr?
Because he scored no goal.
Shit game.
This hypocrisy is unreal.
Because I know the Saliba game you're talking about is when Saliba got an own goal, isn't it?
Scored an own goal against.
Saliba was actually good that game.
He was good that game.
Saliba was actually good that game, but he got an own goal. So what game are you talking about?
What do you mean?
You know the shit game that he had, but Kerr didn't have.
Listen, I love digging out Arsenal when I can, but just watching Lawless just throw shit on his own face, it's brilliant, man.
But what?
Lawless is like trying to dissect Arsenal with like 2 forks and no knife. It's mad.
Wait a minute. I didn't say Saliba don't get into West Ham. Well, I'm doing it for the show, innit? So
is that the new one? That looks quite interesting. What's going on with the kit design in the shoulders?
It's based on it's a take on one of our old kits, but
looks like you're going to war, mate. What's that? Shoulder pads?
Yeah, I'm coming to war. That's what I was doing.
Have you watched Dragon Ball Z? Have you not watched Dragon Ball Z? You remember those uniforms that Frieza used to wear?
Yeah. That's what I was coming. Fucking Super Saiyan mode, mate.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Kerr has been good. I didn't say Saliba's not good because of an own goal. I said he had a poor game that day. I'm saying Kerr and Saliba both been good for their respective teams, right? And Kerr has been probably consistently one of our best players, if not best player.
That's sad. I mean, that kind of does show where you are in the league, isn't it? On your results,
you're in the bottom 3 and they're in the top 3, and they've kept more clean sheets. So surely there's more weight applied to what Saliba's doing than what Kerr.
Yeah, but it's a team sport. It's a team.
Oh, we're talking about 2 individual performances, though. We're not talking about the team performance. We're talking about
but you're talking about our place in the league, though.
But what I'm saying is Saliba has actually contributed to Arsenal's position in the league. He scored 2 goals this season, and he's been. One of their, he's probably been. I would say Arsenal fans probably
that his job.
He's one of their best players
this season so far.
Yeah, 100. Mate.
Oh, by far, better than Gabriel.
And Kerr is a decent centre back. A lot of people don't think it, but I think
German international, by the way.
So what? What does that mean?
What does that mean? Germany are one of the best international teams in the world. Germany's one of the best teams in the world, mate.
He plays them regularly.
So doesn't even play. Joe, let me check how many caps he's got.
He's literally just been called up for Germany. What are you talking about?
So, Lawrence, you're saying Kerr and Zuma, Saliba, well done, but you ain't breaking Kerr.
No, I'm saying it's not cut and dry. I'm not saying there's no way he dislodges. I'm saying
better than Kerr. Why are we doing this? He's better than Kerr.
All right, let's see what's what, innit?
What do you mean what's what? He's stronger. He's faster. He's a better defender. He makes
and he likes to film his mates having a wank in the change.
Yeah, you're right. He's a freak. He's a freak. Yeah,
no.
He's a freak. You know what? You're right. Took up the things. He's a freak.
Yeah. Let's go there. Don't see that from Kerr.
I like that from Lawless.
That's the reason he's not getting in my side.
Yeah, exactly. Can't be trusted in the changing room.
This guy is on the super defensive mode right now.
Mate, anything. This guy will take anything.
God. He's on the super. He couldn't get him on performance, so now he's got him on content instead.
Is he wrong for that one?
What? No, that was facts that happened. What, are you actually
I can't believe this guy.
There's a bit something sus there.
Listen, I don't care about shit like that. As long as he keeps playing the way he's playing, I don't care, man.
No, man.
That way, yeah.
Listen, they ain't me, man. They ain't me. But you know what? If it gets to the stage where he plays that good,
listen. If he wants to video everybody, in the change room after winning the Premier League title, then I'm sure Arsenal fans are not going to give a fuck. To be honest,
allow it.
That's illegal. Look at the lengths Lawless will go to try and get him out of the team. Yo, he should be in prison.
I need to do a combined 11. I need to do a combined 11 with Lawless. We need to do a combined 11 on here between the four. Between the four of us, we should do a combined 11 and see how many West Ham fans Lawless tries to force into this 11.
Let's wait till like mid-season, innit? Mid-season is probably a good time for that, innit?
So let me paint.
Bottom three.
Let me paint. Yeah, let me paint this picture before we move on. Right, Arteta. Right, I think he's got to get a lot of credit for the style of play. The way you guys are playing is wonderful football right now. We've been saying it all season.
How long are we gonna have this wank fest on Arsenal?
No, we're just moving on. This is my final question.
Because you are literally piling on the praise on Arsenal today. Like, are you gonna actually get some perspective?
I like it.
I am hosting. I'm just. This is my final question before we move on.
I think it's deserved. I think it's deserved, man.
I've praised.
Yeah. You can give them credit, but let Potts do most of the talking.
Yeah, but I'm about to ask him a question. If we didn't get into a Kuraha versus fucking Saliba debate there, then maybe we would have got to the end of this by now. I don't know how that even started. I'm asking a very poignant question. I'm saying, given the context of the way you're playing right now, if you was to continue for the majority of the season playing like this, but you were to miss out on top four slightly and lose the Europa League final, say, how would you feel about Arteta's kind of situation?
He's got to go, man.
It doesn't matter.
He's got to go. Yeah, he's got to go. It's a results business, Matisse. We need Champions League football at the bare minimum, and I believe we should be winning that Europa League. I also believe that we should be taking both the domestic cup seriously. It's not like they just get in the way. Oh my God, these two things are getting in the way now. We need to, get them off like we did last year and the season before that. We lost to Southampton and Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. Fair play, we got to the semis of the Carabao Cup, but we just rolled over and died against Liverpool because half our team were depleted and out because we didn't strengthen. So if I see stuff like that again, then I don't care how well we're playing. If that is going to be the end outcome, then Mikel Arteta's got to go and find another job for me, and we've got to get somebody else in and try something different. All I will say is I like the 11. Actually, tell a lie, I like the 15. We've got 15 players. That is it. We ain't got enough, but we've got 15 good players. Now, if those 15 good players stay fit, I think we've got a great chance of doing what I think we should be doing, and that's getting in the Champions League and winning that Europa League. But if we don't do that and things go wrong, then I do think he's got to go, to answer your question. Yeah, man. And we've got to try and bring in somebody else who's ready to win now with this team and not in 5 years' time.
Fair. All right, let's move to Tottenham. As Toby really wants to get stuck into the Son talk and whatnot. You said I
was getting at. I just didn't like the dick riding from you.
Well, if it was Tottenham, you wouldn't have a problem with it, I bet. You said you didn't like the performance, but you got 6-2, right? And Son got a hat-trick off the bench. Kane on the score sheet as well. Yeah, the goals conceded. You could say, okay, that shouldn't be happening too often. It's Leicester as well. But, it doesn't matter. You won 6-2 and you're back to putting the ball in the back of net with a certain player that needed to do that. And everybody was starting to say, oh, well, why is he not benched? And he gets benched. And you said you wanted him benched. Yeah, and he gets benched and he comes on and he has a response. So perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. It was, perfect scoreline and result. But not perfect performance. I'll start off with the bad first. It wasn't a good game for Spurs, man. We started like the first 3-4 minutes before Davinson Sanchez did what Davinson Sanchez does best.
He's terrible. He's
started off okay, like press them, try to sort of dominate the ball, try to sort of not let them get into good areas, and then Sanchez under zero pressure. Yeah, like 4 minutes into the game. Zero pressure. The ball's coming down. He doesn't even have to kick it. No, he could just head it where it came, where it came from. But no, he miss kicks the ball and then gives the ball to Leicester, and then they switch the ball out, they shuffle the ball out to their left-hand side, which is our right-hand side, and James Justin beats Perisic. So Perisic has to slide. He beats the Perisic challenge and drives into our box. And Davinson Sanchez, doing what he does best, is he takes him out on the line, penalty. And
no need.
That sort of summed up like some of the frustrations that I felt watching that game in the first half. It was just bad.
Is he like one of your flops of like the century?
40, absolutely. He's one of the biggest. He's one of the biggest flops that we've had.
He's just a bozo. Like he's awful. Crazy. I think he's so bad.
And Ndombele probably.
And yeah. The thing is with Davinson Sanchez is that like he has the capacity to defend well. Like he goes through spells where he can defend well. Like you'll have performances where he can defend, but there's just too many things wrong about him. He's so error prone. He makes so many mistakes. And second of all, he's terrible with the ball at his feet under pressure. If you press this guy with the ball at his feet, it's a wrap. And you can't have someone so unstable in your back line because it literally spreads chaos. It spreads chaos across the back line. So no matter how well he can defend in a bunch of games, he needs to be sold. He's not good enough for Spurs. And it's a pain for me to say that because when he first came out the blocks, his first season at Spurs, he was a resounding success. He was one of our best players that season. He was quality. But we thought some of the issues that he had then, even when he was playing well, we thought he could iron them out. Not only is he not ironed out those issues in that moment, he's got progressively worse. So he has to go. But yeah, on the performance, it wasn't good. I felt quite lethargic from us after we scored our equalizer. It was good that we responded straight away. Like Leicester are not a good side, and it was good that we responded straight away. Kulusevski doing what he does best. Chance creator machine for Spurs. Beats his man, puts in a really good cross into the box. Harry Kane gets his customary goal against Leicester. But yeah, like after we scored our equalizer, we just couldn't really get control of the game. Like we were quite unstable. And this was even after we scored our second goal from a set piece, which is also good as well. Like we're scoring way more goals from set pieces now. We've got a set piece coach, Gianni Vaio, who clearly he's had his impact felt on the squad because I think we scored like 3-4 goals this season from set pieces. We barely used to score from set pieces before. So that's good. But we had no control in that game. And before people would talk about, oh yeah, but you have no control in all the other games. You can control a game without having all the ball. Like if we restrict the opposition in terms of the quality of chances that they create or their ability to penetrate us, and we're equally threatening on the other side, then in my opinion, that's a different way of controlling the game. But not only were we not good in possession, we were awfully sloppy, giving away the ball to Leicester constantly, not being able to press Leicester properly. And when we had the ball in Leicester's half, we weren't really able to create many chances. It was weird. It was a really, really bad first half. And Leicester actually popped us in the first half, I'll be real. They popped us. They played better football than us. They got into better positions than we did. And if Leicester went into that half 3-2 up, I don't think any Spurs fan could have complained. No Spurs fan could have complained, in my opinion. But second half, the performances improved. Like some performances improved. Bentancur, he literally went from like a 2 out of 10 in the first half to a 10 out of 10 in the second half. He was fantastic in the second half. Instrumental for 2 goals that we scored in the second half. And then
it was his finish, wasn't it? His finish into the
Stole the ball up in Diddy, drove, and buried Danny Ward, who's a shocking goalkeeper.
We have to talk about
shocking goalkeeper. But to be honest, I don't really blame him for their loss because, like, the majority of goals that he conceded, like, I don't think there's anything he could have done about their goals, bar one, which was the Sun one. But yeah, no, it was the bad news is it wasn't a good performance, but the good news is Conte recognized where he made mistakes in the lineup and he changed things. He brought on Basuma to go with a 3 in the midfield. When it was time to refresh the attack, he took Son off the bench and brought him on, and they worked to great effect. Son came on and scored a blistering hat-trick. Basuma came on and formed the 3 with Bentancur and Højbjerg, and all of a sudden our midfield was way more stable. Leicester's players were not able to have that space in time in the middle of the park that they did in the first half or large parts of the second half, and we had more control in and out of possession. So I expected us to beat Leicester convincingly, but I didn't expect us to be as bad as we were on and off the ball. But yeah, we won, and we won emphatically as well. Fake result, if I'll be real.
You'll take it.
Like 6-2, that wasn't a 6-2 game. It was quite open, end to end. It wasn't.
I'm seeing that they had a lot of shots.
They did have a lot of shots. I think they definitely deserved to lose the game. I think we had more than enough about us to put them to the sword, but I don't think they deserved a 6-2. But listen, that's what happens when you're terrible at the back and you've got an attack that we have. Son came on, certain man in this what's the word I'm looking for? Certain co-hosts of this show said some nonsense about Son in the last game. And the guy's been dog crap all season and scores a hat-trick out of nothing. Literally the first 2 goals, brilliant goals. Like the second goal, in fact, the first goal, I literally had my head in my hands on the stand. I said, wow. And the second goal, wow. Like, mental.
Unbelievable.
He came on. He literally came on, and they couldn't live with him. His movement.
Do you think him being benched was part of that response, or not?
I think it helped, man. I think it helped because I think it showed him that like you can't play the way you're playing and expect to start. And I think that's the good thing about our attack now. Yeah, I felt like we still needed one more on Kulusevski's side, another right winger. But the good thing about our attack now is we genuinely have someone to take some of our faulty attackers when they're not performing. Had we had Richarlison last season, I'm sure Richarlison would have come into the team ahead of Harry Kane. I remember we went through that period where Kane was playing like a slack ass before Conte came in, and there was the whole talk of should he be dropped? Should he be dropped? It's not a case of should he be dropped. It's who do we have to come in for Harry Kane if we drop him? Who do we have? What, you're telling me Steven Bergwijn should come in and start? No, it's not gonna work. Do you get what I'm saying? So now we actually have someone in Richarlison who wasn't good, but the fact that he was good in the previous games,
he deserved it.
We were able to start him in the game, and we can bench Son, and that's the type of problems that we want. Good type of problems. Obviously, we want Son to play better, but if he doesn't play well, we have someone that can actually put you on the bench. And I'm glad that it sparked the reaction from Son, and now his season is up and running. So hopefully, we need to see him. We need to see him start scoring more goals. We need to see the performances improve. Simple.
Lawless, you're smiling a lot. Anything to say on?
I just heard a whole load of waffle there. Honestly, he's sitting there saying, certain people spoke a lot of rubbish about Son, and he's come on and his season's up and running now. Do me a favor. Yes, great. He got a hat trick. Well done, Son. But getting a hat trick in a flipping 6-2 game, right, does not tell you that, here Son's everything that Tobs said about, I'm so sure that Son is going to be amazing this season. He's going to kick on. Like, this is one game. Yes, anyone who gets a hat trick in a game, it's a great achievement in a match, right? It shows that, cool, you've been clinical. However, I said, and Tobes even agreed with me, that's the funniest thing at the end. At the end, he admitted I was right because he backtracked and was like, actually, I hope. He went from, I know that Son is going to come good to, I hope he's going to come good, right? And now he's using this to justify the argument that he had that he went and changed anyway.
I didn't change it.
You changed your word.
I didn't change it. The only thing I agreed with you is you said in football nothing is guaranteed. I said it may not be facts. I don't know what will happen in 3, 4, 5 games. But I believe in my player. I believe a guy who's been scoring 15 to 20 goals for the last 5, 6 years isn't all of a sudden just going to score nothing for the rest of the season.
But I didn't say we'll score nothing. And this is the thing. I said to you, and this was like start of the season. I think it was like earlier on in the season. And I said that Son is going to be nowhere near the golden boot. And you was like, what? How can you say that? Why? I was like, no, like last season, that was his time to be near the golden boot.
Why? Why?
Well, one, he's not going to get as many goals as he got last season. And 2, he's damn sure not getting anywhere near as many as Haaland.
Okay.
And you really thought
he can still be close to it.
What's close? Because 10 goals to me apart ain't close. You think
Why do you think
10
he's
goals
gonna
to
get
Haaland?
10? He scored 3 in one match, but you think he can only get 10 goals this season?
No. What I said is, you said close. I'm saying he's not getting within 10 goals of the Golden Boot, which means
You want to put
that
money on
Haaland.
that?
Oh
Should we put
shit!
money on that?
Yeah, hold on. We got ourselves a bet.
Wait. What we saying then?
No. You said that he's not going to get within 10 goals of the Golden Boot. So I said, do you want to put money on that?
So
put your money where your mouth is. You half talk a lot of rubbish on this platform. So put your money where your mouth is. Because I will bet you now that he will get if the Golden Boot is number X, Son won't be 10 goals.
So you're saying if Haaland breaks the records and he gets 38 goals.
Don't over talk about it. You know the bet. Say it and put it down.
Exactly.
Put it down. It's within 10. Don't over explain.
Put your money down.
If he's stat padding hat tricks against relegation.
No, Lawless.
All of a sudden,
we all know the terms and conditions of the bet.
Exactly.
Put it down.
The guys.
Because I said
You spoke all this rubbish about Son, and Son has played like a slap ass this season. He's been terrible.
Well, there you go.
Because if Haaland does get 38, I don't think he'll get 28. So you should be confident.
Lawless should do this. Lawless
put it down.
The reason why
Put it down.
What is your definition of close? That's
10. He said you just explained your definition, and Toby is disagreeing with you. So what's the commotion?
You said that Son will not score.
Within 10.
You said Son will be 10 goals or more from the Golden Boot tally. I said,
Lawless, do it.
Lawless, just do it. What's wrong with you?
Haaland.
Wait, how many has he got now?
Oh my god, this guy is so backtracking. It's ridiculous. Those were his first 3 goals of the season. He didn't have a goal up until that point. Those are his first 3 goals. Haaland's on what? I don't know. Haaland's on 10.
Haaland's on 10.
11.
Haaland's on 10. Son's on 3. So he's 7 already ahead of him.
Yeah.
So what's the hold up?
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. Let's do it then.
How much?
How much you putting?
£100.
Yeah, he's on Haaland's on 11 goals.
£100.
You
want
your money where your mouth is.
Don't make the point.
Lawless, I've seen you give away money for hot chicken, spicy chicken and shit on your channel. Come on, man. £100 for it down. Spicy chicken challenges and that. Come on, man.
Lawless, that's a good deal.
And we'll put £100 on that.
Lawless, that's a good deal.
£100? Shake it.
8 goals. Let's say 8.
What?
What do you mean? No. This guy is so shameless. You said 10.
8, you want to put £100?
10.
Yes.
You said 10. You said it. You did say it.
£100 to dispute what you said. Yes.
£100 that Son will score under 10 goals less.
That Son's final season tally will be less than 10.
Than 10 behind Haaland.
Behind
whoever the top scorer is. Yeah.
I said he won't come close. Yeah.
Oh, you're joking. No.
Lawless, just take it, man.
No.
Tune in to next week because we're gonna iron out the details.
No, we're not. No. We're not ironing out nothing. This is not a fucking shirt. Yeah.
Son has been poor for 90% of this season, and he has got almost a 1 in 2 scoring rate in his appearances.
No, the only thing is I'm worried that Haaland's going to get injured.
All right, well then don't say that then.
Don't say it then.
No, but the point is.
The point's mute because you won't bet on it, so it's not a point.
And the thing is, for someone who talks with such conviction, you should know that Son is literally the definition of a streaky player. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold. So he is probably one of the few players that you should not be talking up the things when it comes to scoring goals.
I said he's not going to come close.
You were talking about that's what he's been doing for years and years and years. Yeah.
To me, close is like 5 goals.
Last season he scored 23 in the league. The season before he scored 17. The season before I think he scored like 14, 12, 13. I can't even remember. But the point is this guy has scored at least 11, 12 goals in the Premier League for the last 5-6 seasons. So you talking to me about him not scoring as many as he did last year, him losing his goal scoring touch, miss me with that. Because you are speaking from an uneducated viewpoint. You don't know much
I
about
said,
the player,
wait,
and
that
you're
is
talking.
educated.
You're waffling.
I said he's not
You're
going to get as many as
waffling.
he did last season.
You won't put a bet on it. So
You're waffling.
I didn't say he's
so if he's not going to get, so how many goals? He got 23 last year.
I got 23 last
So
year.
you're saying that you don't believe that Haaland is going to break the record then?
Well, no, but the thing is, I believe he's going to break the record.
I can't
My
believe you're doing
concern
this.
is
Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is.
there's Champions League.
No, I'm done. I'm done hearing this. No, we're done. We're done.
Lawless,
We're done.
just do it.
We're done.
Lawless,
No,
just do it.
he doesn't have the confidence. He doesn't have the
He doesn't have
confidence.
the cojones.
He doesn't have the cojones for this
That's
at
fine.
all.
Then, all right, let's do it. Let's do it then. Let's do it.
£100. Shake it. Put your hand up.
Put 100.
You need to see your hand on the screen.
You don't
Yeah, I
want
need
to
to
do
see your hand on the
50.
screen. I need to see your hand on the screen. Go on, shake it. Go on then. There you
wait.
go. Cool. Perfect. Wonderful. It's done.
My hand was out.
Guys, thank you. Thank you. That's
There's
what I
no
wanted.
proof that was my hand because it was out of focus. So if
That's what I wanted.
That was your hand. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
The thing is, though, he hijacked my point and now has made it 10 goals. When I said
No.
10,
He didn't. He
hijacked it, and because I was trying to ask Tobs, like, what's your definition of close? Because I said obviously 10 is not.
You
close.
said he won't be
So
within
is
10.
8 close? Is 7?
You said he won't be within 10. That's what you said.
I didn't say he's going to get 10, though.
And you were like, you expect Haaland to smash the record, 38, something like that. Will Son be 28? I don't think so. That's what you said. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Son has proven to be
I don't even think it's a bad bet for you. If Haaland does a madness, then I think you should be safe. If Haaland does score more goals than games and he does get higher 30, smashes the record, I don't expect Son to get over 25. I expect him to get maybe, around about what he got. I don't expect him to get 28, 29.
I think it's a good year for Lawless to put that bet on.
I don't think it's a bad bet. I don't know why you're shitting yourself so much, to be honest.
Same.
I think it's a good bet. You just need Haaland to stay fit. That's it.
Yeah.
If Haaland gets injured for 3 months, you're fucked. But
That's my worry.
all right, let's move on to West Ham. I think we had a Tottenham segment there in a roundabout way. West Ham, man. Yeah, wow. Losing away to Everton.
Second spot in the league, plus 11 goal difference, 18 goals scored, 7 conceded. Antonio Conte at the wheel. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Sorry, we'd already moved on from Tottenham.
That's it. That's it. I don't want to say any more.
Yeah, good for you. Well done.
But what about you lot? Like I said, this is not looking good, bro. Like, so you guys were meant to be at least maintaining your position of 7th, right? That was the aim when you spent kind of the money you spent. But you're now lingering in the bottom 3 with 1 win in 7, minus 6 goal difference. What's going on with Moyes, man? Because he doesn't seem to know which new player. Are these even his players? Can I start with that? Did he authorize these signings? Because he's looking like a manager who was given players that didn't authorize them.
No, listen, I'm not trying to hear about this ain't Moyes players, this is Moyes players, right? Because at the end of the day, if he's not authorized these signings and he's not prepared to play them, get the fuck out. That's straight up. Get the fuck out, right? Honestly, leave. Because if we're in this same situation of, oh, well, these ain't my signings, so I'm not going to play them, then what are you doing here then? Because either call it out, put your foot down, don't take the players, or take the players and go, well, look, I'm not prepared. These ain't my players. I'm not going to prepare to play these 170 million worth of players. So I'm going to leave. So I don't think that's the case, though. I'm believing that they are his players. He's done his due diligence. He took a sweet ass long time to sign them. But his problem is he don't seem to know what his best team is. He's too loyal to previous players. And he's always got this belief of, oh, you can't just throw players straight in. You've got to give them time to gel, to adapt to the league, all of that shit. It's so many issues with his outlook. But yeah, I'm not believing that these are his players for sure. Because if they're not, then why are you still here? Leave. Have some dignity about yourself. But yeah, it's his stubbornness of playing the same players, right? And look, we just argued about Son, right? Who got dropped, rightly so. We was shit, but he comes on as a sub. All of a sudden, he's looking a bit livelier again. Jared Bowen has been shit every game of the season and has started every game of the season. That's shocking. And you're dropping Ben Rama when he has a good game. You're dropping him like every other game. The guy comes on as a sub. He turns our form around. He gets us playing, gets us firing, gets us creating. Then he's not in the team next week. But Jared Bowen is. Souček, you know, who apart from the Spurs game, you know, has not been good this season. Apart from the Spurs game. So don't smile.
Check the link in the chat, guys, and the screenshot.
Oh, here we go. What is this link now? What is this nonsense?
Probably one of the worst passes in football I've seen in a long time.
Oh, that. Do you know what? That was terrible, but I have to blame Declan Rice for some of this. You'll see it on Twitter, by the way. I know everyone can't see this, but Rice passes it to Souček, and this is right late in the game, and Souček turns and does a really shit pass to Zouma. I don't know who it was supposed to be, and Zouma's had to run back. So that is poor on Souček. But I've got to give a little blame for Rice, because pass and move into the open space. Because when I look at Souček, I think, well, who was he supposed to pass to there? You know, because Rice was standing right next to him, and he's not really tried to run forward. So I have to blame Rice a little bit for that. But yeah, that was poor. He's what?
I don't think Rice had a good game. I look at the goal you conceded. He was skipped past easily, or he didn't make any attempt to really block the shot either. He looked like he was just going through the motions. So, and I agree with you. Like, yeah, he makes the pass and then follow your pass or look for the 1-2. You know what I mean? Or instruct him to give it back. Like, you know, just.
But this is what I'm saying. If you look,
there's no chemistry between those two, is there? There doesn't seem to be much.
Yeah, and I don't know why Moyes is so insistent on keep playing them together. And the thing is, when you have so many out of form players, it's like rot. It just seeps in and just spreads around the team. And you need to remove those players. And that's why it affects the players that usually are really good players for you. It affects their form. You know, and Souček, I have no doubt is affecting Rice's form. But he won't change it. He won't change it. He makes a lot of changes. Well, let me change this formation and let me drop Emerson. What was Creswell doing in the team? And Emerson on the bench, Emerson's been far better than Creswell. All of a sudden now, there's Creswell back in the side. He changes the areas that you don't want to see changes. And he keeps the players that you're screaming to fucking change these players, but he keeps them in.
I think sorry, Lawless, just to...
Yeah, go on, man.
I think when managers do this, it really frustrates me. And Conte is a repeat offender when it comes to this stuff as well. And if you would have seen some of the stuff I've been saying as well, when I was praising him, the Leicester game, I was praising him because he finally started to utilize the options he's had available that's been added to his squad. And I think with West Ham now, Moyes just needs to be more cutthroat. You've added all this quality into your team. Yeah. You've added all this quality into your team. Start using them. Start using them to change games in matches. Like, there's no point you still trying the same players who are quite clearly out of form. Try something different. Try something different. I don't understand why he's not doing it.
This is what I mean. The different that he tries
is always.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. Flynn Downs, right, had a great game in Europe. All of a sudden, he was dropped for the next European. Like, he was man of the match, right, at our home game in Europe against FCSB. Man of the match. Gets dropped for the next game against Silkeborg away. And everyone's thinking, what the fuck? And people are like telling me, it's because he's going to be starting on Sunday, like, against Everton. That's what it's going to be. All of a sudden, he's nowhere to be seen then. He just drops players randomly for, like, no reason. But there's other players that you're screaming drop. He just keeps playing them. And, like, he keeps like the left wing. We keep changing it up then, like players. Sometimes we're playing a left wing back. Ben Rama's there. Sometimes Fornals is there. You know, it's so frustrating. But the areas of like Souček will not be moved out of that position. Bowen will not be moved out of that position. You know, Soufal, obviously, he's been hit and miss this season, but Johnson's injured. Ashby, who looked a real promising prospect, He's gone missing. He's fell off a cliff. We don't know what's happened to him. I don't think he was even on the bench. And then the back line just changes so many times. You haven't got a consistent back line. He just
scoring goals is the issue, though, Lawless, isn't it? Because you've scored, you scored a deflection against Villa, which was a bit lucky. You obviously got the Antonio one against Chelsea, which, let's be honest, was, some people were saying was a foul, was a tap-in. And then the other one was obviously the goal that was fine, which was against Spurs, funny enough, which was Souček's goal. But other than that, it's looking bad, man. Like, there's nobody... Like, Moyes needs to pick an 11, understand his best 11, and stick with it. There's no point changing it round. Like on Match of the Day last night, Shearer and Wright put together the team selections of West Ham in the last few games, and it's just all completely different. Moyes, I don't understand what he's doing. He's brought in Paqueta,
Scamacca. Was there Match of the Day yesterday?
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was one on. I checked it.
On the Sunday?
Yeah.
Match of the Day too is always on, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like it was like I was just thinking, how has no one noticed this before? Like Moyes needs to pick an 11 and stick with it. He's brought all these players. Like I've got to big up Sophie here. Sophie Nicolau. I don't know if people know. She runs the hybrid squad. I'm quite close with her. She's on TalkSport and Sky Sports quite a lot. And she said, I think West Ham are going to have a shocker this season. When not a ball had been kicked. Not a ball being kicked. And I said, really? She said, yeah, I think they're going to be shocking this season. Bottom half finish. Like, won't be a good season for West Ham. And that's surprising because they've spent a lot of money. They've got players in. Their fans are happy with their transfer window. Why do you think that? And she just said, I think it will be a lot of players that are coming in. They're going to need time to gel. And I'm not sure Moyes can take them any further. And so far, 7 games in, it doesn't look too unrealistic to what she was expecting.
The thing is, I can't even look at and say, like it's because the new players.
Too early, though.
Yeah, that
it is early,
but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a case of there is a degree of gelling, like that maybe needs time and a degree, but I think a lot of the problem is, like you said, there's a lot of chopping and changing in areas that maybe don't need to be changed up, and not enough changing in areas that should be changed.
Do you think he's the right style of manager for the players that you brought in terms of more technically?
That's my concern, because Paqueta, you've got a quality player like that, and it's just the way we're playing. You go in and try and play an all defensive. What are you doing for Paqueta there, and allowing him to express himself and create? It's just shit. And when we can't string some simple basic passes together, how are we supposed to create any goals? There was so many opportunities there where Souček just needed to pass into space for Antonio to run onto, and he just passes it sideways. It's unbelievable. So that's why we're not scoring goals, because we're just not getting the ball effectively to our forward players. And then when you do, sometimes we're just going long, which is pointless. You just bypass this 45 million Brazilian international altogether, and then trying to have Scamacca or Antonio hold it up by themselves when they've got 3 players around them. It's not working. And he needs to realize the players that he signed and actually just have some balls and have us play on the front foot and go for it, because what we're doing is not working at all. We were banging goals last season. So if the new players are the problem, if that's they ain't got time to gel, then don't play them then. But then if you're not playing them and we're still losing, well then you've got problems then, haven't you? You've got something to answer for. Because it's the old players that are looking the most shit. It's last season's players that are the problem.
Do you not think that there should be some blame put onto the players as well? Because it's a lot of talk on Moyes, and rightly so, because I don't think he's utilizing your squad well enough. I don't think he's understanding when to take players out, and that's a skill. That's actually a really good skill that some managers struggle with. But surely there has to be blame put on some of the players as well, because the level that, say, someone like you had all this energy for Son, but the level that Jared Bowen is playing at this season, and he's a player that I really like, he's been garbage. He's not effective at all. He's not a goal threat. He's not creating, and it's not just him as well. The midfield's not offering much. The defense is not the defense is nowhere near as stable as it has been over the past couple of years.
But this is the problem when everyone's just
Antonio, what's he done this season? What's he done this season?
Listen,
the best game I've seen from Antonio was against Tottenham when he got man of the match, and you could argue that he wasn't. Yeah, he had his moments, like he had spells in that game. I wouldn't say he was great for the whole game.
Chelsea. Like he's got gradually slightly better as the season's gone on. He was much worse earlier on, but I think the defense haven't even been terrible. Like I said, I think a lot of chopping and changing, and people just bypassing the midfield, having less protection for the defense. But with the Bowen stuff and all these players, you have to look at the players as well, and they deserve some criticism. But I said this on my watch along, like, I'm not even trying to blame Bowen because he don't pick himself. Moyes picks him. Like, Moyes should be dropping him. He's the one who plays him. If a player is playing like shit, but he's in the starting 11 week in, week out, and he still can't get it together, well, you have to blame the manager because the manager has to find a way. We know he's a good player. So what do you do if he just goes, oh no, like you're fine, Bowen. You keep playing, you keep going. Something's not right with him. Clearly, he's clearly just been ineffective. The amount of times he's lost the ball for us, and not like a creative player, because I know people try to say, oh, Paqueta lost the ball, like not like a Sanchez type player where they're trying to take players on and be creative, or like Ben Ramsey have lost the ball. No, just really poorly lost the ball. But Moyes keeps playing him, so I have to blame the manager. Drop him and see what happens. Like I said, Son, I wouldn't blame Son for being shit. Yeah, of course we're going to give him a bit of stick.
Why not? Why can't you blame Son for being shit? He's playing
because again, there's so many factors. It's because I can't say it's a lack of effort.
It's not about a lack of effort. He's not playing well. If you're playing well below your standard, criticism will come your way, no?
Yeah, which we're doing. We're saying he's playing well beyond his standard, but why? That's the question. So it's not. We know it's not lack of effort. Is it lack of adaptability to play with the new players? Although we're hardly playing any of the new players.
Or he's not playing well. Players go through periods where they don't play well,
but that's why you take them out.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm just trying to think of your wide options. So you've got Ben Rama, Bowen. Who else would play out wide? Cornet, yep, and
he's been putting Fornals out there as well.
Yeah, I see Fornals play left. Fornals is not a winger. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't care how.
You wanted him to play deeper, didn't you, Lawless, next to Rice?
I wanted him to play in Souček's position.
Yeah,
I want him to play there. I think
that would be very attacking, but.
But at the same time, like, he's someone who actually is hard working, so he can do the grunt work. But
I think a Rice Fornals, Paqueta as a midfield free, and then go with the wingers and the forward and try and be a bit more.
You could potentially do that. I think Rice and Paqueta. I think if you have Rice as the DM holding there, right, protecting the back four, and then you have Fornals as that slightly more box to box sort of ball progression guy. His main job is going to be feeding the attacking players, right? So linking up with, if Paqueta is your number 10, him and Paqueta are trying to get the ball into the spaces for him and playing off him. That's what I want to see. Whereas we've got Souček at the moment, who's just not doing that. He's killing our attacks. So I don't know why Moyes don't try. Like, I agree with Tobs. He's not a left winger.
I knew his hopes would bite on that one. I knew it.
Honestly, he's obsessed. He's obsessed, but he still scored against them. But I agree though.
He plays against us quite a few times.
Yeah, well, there you go, isn't it? What does that say about you? What does that say about you?
That's what it said about us. Players tend to score against us a couple of times. Yeah.
They're not as good as you think you are.
I mean, I've been pushing this Poch thing out in the air for a while. I don't know about you, Potts. Would you be looking at a managerial change? I just feel like the players that they have and Moyes, I don't think it goes hand in hand now. I think much like Newcastle when they had Pardew and even Brighton when they had Chris Hughton, loads of different teams, they can do well under these managers and still think, you know what, we need to move on now into a new era where we change the style of football. We're trying to go in a different direction. Because what more can Moyes really do at West Ham that he hasn't done? Do you really think he's going to kick you onto the next level, win a trophy, take you back into the top 6? Is he really capable of doing that as a manager?
When you look, when you think about it, he's done a great job in West Ham. Like, took them over when they were in a relegation fight and basically put them into a discussion around Champions League football, European football, right? I never thought they were going to get Champions League football, but, you know, they did well in Europe, got them to Europa League semi-final. I don't think as a West Ham fan, you can sit there and say, this manager's a disgrace. He's been absolutely terrible for us. But I think when you spend 190 million, you need to get to that World Cup and have a chance of looking as if West Ham are in and around where they're going to be last season at the very bare minimum. And at the moment, it looks like that's going to be hard to do. So I think the discussion that we're having now needs to come back again when we break for the World Cup. Because if West Ham are in and around where they are now, they need to get rid of him because he's clearly lost the dressing room or the players have down tools on him. Because it doesn't look to me as if West Ham are the same team. There doesn't seem that team spirit that there was. There was that massive team spirit of last couple of seasons, to be fair, where everybody looked like they really wanted to play under this guy. I haven't seen that this season at all.
Noble seems to be a big loss, man. We lost Noble, who was the leader. And whatever any rival.
Well, if Noble comes back into this side, things are okay. Come on, man. There's a lot more than just Mark Noble.
No, but I think people don't realize how key Noble was in the dressing room. People that
I agree with that. No, I agree with that. Man, I definitely agree with that.
You'd clean up the dressing rooms and give the speeches, and then clean up the other dressing rooms and mop the floors.
Yeah, you know what? It's called fucking. It's called integrity. It's called. You know what I mean?
Go on.
What do your campy players just do? What do? Eh? They shit up the way.
Go on, skipper.
We're better than the cleaners. Yeah, look at you. That's what Spurs do. They think they're better than everyone else. We don't think that way. Now we've got Ben Johnson.
You're taking a piss, Tobs.
Go on, cleaner. Go on,
You're taking
skipper.
a piss.
But you see that, like now Ben Johnson is taking it over. That he's teaching the younger generation to have some dignity and class and clean
That's
up.
where he's young. Is Ben Johnson not young?
Who says that?
Yeah, he's young.
Who says that we don't clean up after our?
But you don't.
Oh, just because we don't get a photo of Lloris doing it and putting it on our socials, it doesn't happen.
I'm telling you, it doesn't happen. You'd be the first one. You're too busy, Son and Kane, trying to practice their secret handshakes and all that fucking thing. Grown ass men doing their secret handshakes. I was waiting
for when it would happen. Like,
yeah,
fair enough. If you could say like, they're missing a little bit of leadership, cool. But your issues run far deeper than having a focal point in terms of a voice in the dressing room. Like, you're not defending well.
But that is an issue. I'm not saying it's the issue.
But I'm looking at the issues on the pitch.
Is Rice not a leader? He's wearing the armband.
He's been pretty poor this year, Declan Rice. I'm a massive fan, but he ain't been great, has he, Rice?
He hasn't. And Lawless will speak on it.
I've said this. Look, and I said this. I was talking to Jason. Listen, I'm not trying to hear like, oh, this justifies everything that's ever been said about
last season. When Harry Kane was playing poorly, you crucified him. So I want to see you apply the same energy when your darling Declan Rice,
I just mentioned him.
Struggling,
straight past it.
Is struggling to assert himself in football matches.
Sorry. I ain't seen Rice go and play any golf games and talking about, I can't wait to leave.
I don't care about any of that. You've got a loud mouth when other teams and their players are being discussed. Now I want you to have a loud mouth and a loud voice about your star player playing poorly. Because he is playing
Rice. I said this on the watch along, right? Because Jace, he was really laying into Rice. But he ain't got the football IQ that everyone else has. Well, yeah, better than him. I tell you that for free. But yeah, I said to him, look, the thing is with Rice, he's not playing. He's not even been like a real shit player, but he's not playing up to his standards. He's not playing up to the standards that he has set. So yes, he has to take some of the criticism, a big part of criticism, because he's our best player. So he needs to pull himself together. Now, as much as a leader's concerned, he has got leadership qualities, but he's still a young guy. It's still hard for as a youngster, 23 years old, to be, having a whole team of players listening to you and looking up to you, because it's just gonna, it's not gonna work out that way. So you're always gonna have a challenge in that respect, but. Yeah, he's not been like...
Nothing's going well at the moment, is it? Let's be honest. Yeah. Like, Bowen's out of form. Rice is out of form. Noble's not there. We'll skirt past that one. And all the other stuff that we've seen with Moyes and some of the other stuff, man, it ain't looking good for you.
That's what I said. It permeates, though. It's a disease that spreads. What
about any refereeing decisions?
Listen, right. Listen, just listen, right. If you lot
He's blaming
You
damn
don't
near
want to hear
everything.
it. Referee just things out your mouth. Yeah, you dirty Chelsea. After that game, honestly, I'm still. But
No, I'm just saying. At Goodison Park, was there any refereeing decisions that he wasn't happy with?
I didn't even notice the ref. That's
You
how
know what I
bad.
noticed? Some god awful defending for that Neil Maupay goal.
Yeah,
Great
that was
finish
shocking.
for Maupay, but he's literally had the time to flip the ball in the air and then measure his shot and then strike his shot. I'm thinking, how is no one like closed him down or anticipated that he's going to volley that? They're just standing, backing off him. What do you think is going to happen here?
We did that most of the game. We gave them way too much space.
I didn't even watch the match. I just see the highlights. And I just think that is terrible.
I mean, if you watch the highlights, you'll
Terrible.
see Rice not intercepting that ball. He just let them pass straight through the middle of the defense there to get there in the first place
anymore. Like the pressing is non-existent. We just give players space and time, and then just try and pick our moments, get the ball off them, and then slowly transition.
When would you get rid of Moyes? If it continues to go bad,
I've said this, right?
He don't like Moyes, to be honest. He's never really liked Moyes.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and I've really tried to. I've given him a chance and all of this, and what I'm saying is with Moyes, and a large part of our fan base is Moyes out right now. It's turned quickly. I'm still there saying, nah, it's too soon. But I'm looking at our next 3 games. We got Wolves, Southampton, and Fulham. I don't know exactly if it's that order. I want to see 9 points out of those 3 games, but I need to see a minimum 7 points out of those 3 games. I have to. If we lose against Wolves, boy, I'm really going to be thinking that he needs to go.
I bet.
But 10 games, I think 10 games is a good, like, you
barometer.
Yeah, because that's usually, everyone always says like 10 games in is where you kind of get a feel of where
you'll see where you are as well, like before the World Cup starts. That'll be the midway point. Yeah.
So coming out of those next 3 games, we'll have played 10 games. Then we can see, look, has Moyes, because look, it's not even just the points, it's the performances. I need to see us playing a lot better. If we play against Wolves and we're fucking brilliant, but for whatever reason, we just can't get that win over the line, then I take that and go, cool, we're progressing, we're starting to turn it around. And then we take that performance and we play well in the next game, and there's some consistency. But the performances are just so bad. Even in the games, I've said this, like, we haven't had in the league a great 90-minute performance. We've had, at best, 45-minute performances. Even the Villa game, we were shit in the first half. Absolutely terrible. Then we make some subs, we change it, and then we're a lot better. Spurs game, first half we were shit. Second half we get better. Chelsea game even, we went 1-0 up early, but we still weren't great for large portions of the first half. There's been no games where you can come out of it and go, oh wow, what a performance! And that's the big issue. So I say points, and because we do desperately need to start picking up points, but I want to see some good performances. Otherwise, it's going to show he's either lost the dressing room or he's just incapable. And based on what you said earlier, Matisse, just before you asked Potts the question of, is he capable of managing these players? Have we got players in that don't suit him? That would be outrageous. If he's gone and signed players that do not suit how he wants to play, the guy needs to retire. He needs to absolutely retire, because you have spent so long, 18 months looking for a striker. 18 months. I'm not trying to hear that Scamacca is not good enough or does not fit our system or is not suited to the Prem. I don't want to hear any of that. You spent 18 months when you could have signed some players in January. You could have just got in Maupay or something last season, and then we could have at least had enough to get that Europa League
spot,
spot, or go for, or get to the final in the competition or something. Just that little bit. But you was like, no, I want to wait, rather than like just signing players that we may have to move on, later on. I want to sign the right players. That's what he said.
So these have to be the right players.
They have to be. They absolutely have to be. Obviously, look, Potts will know because he's heard the same come out of Arteta's mouth. I don't want to just sign anyone. I want to sign the right players that are going to be here, that improve. This is what he said. I want to sign players that play in the starting 11, and he signed these players. They don't play in the starting 11. So it's the transfers. Everything is on him. So the pressure's on, mate. I'm losing my patience. Like my patience always been. I've never been one of the most patient with Moyes. I didn't want him back. I ate humble pie because he was really good, 2 really good seasons, but he's undoing all of his good work. He's literally tearing apart his work that he's done. And the new managers, there's managers out there, whether we can get them or not. I think we do need to start looking. If we do get rid of Moyes, try and look and just throw money at someone like Poch and just give him a big contract and say, look, we're going to give you a big contract. We've got. Why are you smirking like that? Why?
He doesn't believe you can pull such a commodity, much like Kostic. But I'm here to see you try. I want to see you, man, try and get a manager of that ilk. I think it'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
if Poch came, I've been tooting on this Poch thing for a while, so I'm here to see it. It's
doable. It's never not impossible. It's going to be tricky, to convince him. You have to convince him, and he might look at Tottenham connection, but say, look, we're going to back you. We're going to give you time. And because there's obviously going to be less pressure on him at West Ham. And we've already got these quality players in, and we'll give you some more money in the summer. You never know. But right now, obviously, I'm not Moyes out right now, but he better fucking turn it around. We've got the international break now. It's a good time, and it's frustrating because then it's 2 weeks sitting in the bottom 3. However, it's good time for him to work out what the fuck's going wrong and fix it. Because I want to see us in that Wolves game. I want to see a West Ham like we've never seen before. We better come out flying. Otherwise, boy, you're gonna hit that stadium. That's at home as well. If we lose that game, it's gonna be like the last time. When Moyes managed us and we lost to Burnley, and it got very uncomfortable.
Well, there you go. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, I'm intrigued, man. If you lose another game, it's gonna be tough for you coming on this show afterwards. You better hope somebody loses with you because when things get back into action,
damn Pots and just diss my team into oblivion, so none of you guys can do it.
Man, I'm not dissing my team at the moment, bro. I'm all good.
You're feeling good.
I said to Potts here because Potts, he's getting. Look at him. He's getting all happy and shit. And I was like,
let him glow.
I cannot wait until the fixtures pile up. And this is when someone's like, "Oh, your fixtures are going to pile up." Yeah, but we've already been dealing with it. Like we're prepared. We've been playing 2 games a week since the start of the season. So. Listen, don't worry about us.
You haven't been coping, so
you haven't been dealing with it. Though. That's the thing.
So they can tell you firsthand, Potts, that it's not easy because they're not coping.
and Potts, when it does all come crashing down, and it hurts inside.
Wow!
I don't want to hear nothing about. I said this and I told you. No, I want you to hold your hands up and go, "Yeah, I got carried away."
I don't think I have got carried away though.
I think, listen, you
want me to say that I've got carried away when all I've been saying is that it's looking good at the moment. I don't want to hear. Come May, I still don't think we're going to be in the top.
You can't just let Arsenal fans enjoy. Let Arsenal fans like Potts enjoy, man. They don't get to enjoy too much. Let them enjoy. Let them eat.
Let me milk it while I'm at the top, man. Let me milk it while I'm at the top.
Yeah, this is Arsenal fans going to have what's it called? I can't remember the term, but they're never going to be able to. Some of them are going to have flashbacks and goosebumps of not being able to even enjoy these things because they just know people like Lawless are ready to, but it's fair. We're
interested if Lawless, if West Ham were currently 6th or 5th or even 7th, if Lawless would have this much anger and
no, he wouldn't. He's a very angry man right now. He's moving a bit like Grizz did a couple of weeks ago on Big Six. The anger when Liverpool are underperforming. Yeah, there's anger there. I can see it in his eyes. Potts, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure as always.
Cheers, boys. Always a pleasure, man. At Dan Arsenal 87 on socials and at Football's 12th Man podcast. I've literally just hit 5k people, so thank you for those of you because I know that some of you come over and subscribed. I appreciate that. So come over and follow the content. Much appreciated. Thank you, Matisse.
Pleasure. Obviously, Lawless, I know you're not in a good mood bringing up that Saliba video, but how you doing? Let the people know where to find you, bro.
West Ham Fan TV. We got watch-alongs, all sorts of business. We're obviously going to dissect on Friday what the fuck is going on at this club. And at the Lawless on Twitter. I'm sure everyone's going to be atting me after every game. I know a lot of you who watch this show have been on my case. But the sun will rise again over East London. I'm convinced. The
Get Mark
Sun
Noble
will rise.
back. That's what I think you should do. Get him back.
Listen, you know, class character. Never see the likes of him in North London. Class.
Thank God. Thank God.
Class.
He says that as if it's a bad thing that I don't see a player like Mark Noble at Spurs.
No, but I said you never see a character. You never see someone like that. Someone with class. Yeah.
Sure.
The team that dives all over the place. Fucking
a West Ham fan talking to me about class.
When's the Olympics?
Hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, we're
sometimes I actually don't know what world you live in.
We're classy, mate. We're classy.
Okay, cool, sure, classy.
Tobs, let them know where to find you. Pleasure.
TapinTobs on all socials. I'm nearly hitting 10k, so please subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. I'm inching closer and closer. So yeah, that's me.
There you go. Lawless, you need a win, man. Fuck it. It's going to be a long couple weeks for you.
Well, at least
I can't believe.
There's no football this weekend, so I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. But obviously, there's no we can't analyze no West Ham. So
yeah.
We're gonna do a combined 11 and see how many West Ham fans you forced into our.
Here we go.
All right. Right, big up your damn selves. I can't wait to watch this one back. In a bit, people. Peace.
Safe.